Good morning, good afternoon, and greetings to all colleagues joining today's session. Let me begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to UNEP, UNIDA, UNITAR, and to our partners at PAPANAS for convening this important exchange and for their continued leadership in advancing green, circular, and just economies. Today's session, Closing Loops, Opening Opportunities, comes at a critical moment. Across the Global South, countries are accelerating their transitions toward low-carbon development, resource efficiency, and more inclusive economic pathways. At the same time, they are generating solutions that are practical, scalable, and deeply grounded in local experience. For these solutions to have real impact, they must be shared, adapted, and applied across borders. South-South and triangular cooperation is therefore essential for scaling up green development across regions. It remains one of the key avenues to make this possible. South-South and triangular cooperation, SSTC, is a collaborative model through which developing countries exchange knowledge, experience, resources, and technologies to address shared development challenges. Triangular cooperation complements this by bringing in developed countries or international organizations as facilitators, helping to broaden the reach and amplify the results of South-South exchange. What distinguishes SSTC from traditional development models is not only who participates, but how cooperation is carried out. South-South and triangular cooperation is guided by several core principles as follows. Mutual respect and equality. Every country contributes and every country benefits. National ownership. Countries define their own priorities and shape the collaboration. Solidarity and mutual benefit. Cooperation is based on shared goals, not conditionality. It demands-driven, context-specific exchange. Solutions are tailored, not transferred wholesale. It is co-creation and joint problem-solving. Peers learn, adapt, and innovate together. And strong attention to implementation, understanding how reforms work within real institutions. Because developing countries often face similar economic and environmental pressures, these solutions exchanged through South-South collaboration tend to be highly relevant, cost-effective, and easier to integrate into national systems. This grounding in real-world practicality is what gives South-South cooperation its unique strengths. This spirit is also strongly reflected in Indonesia's long-standing engagement in South-South cooperation. 70 years ago, the Bandung Conference in Indonesia helped shape a vision of cooperation based on equality, solidarity, and shared progress, a vision that continues to guide South-South cooperation today. Within PAGE, we see the value of this approach every day. Since 2018, PAGE Indonesia has integrated green economy principles into national and subnational planning. These experiences continue to offer valuable lessons for PAGE partner countries. A recent example illustrates this well. The Indonesia-China bilateral exchanges on green finance and circular economy held earlier this year, first in Indonesia and later in China, facilitated strategic dialogue and peer learning on policy frameworks, institutional practices, and innovative pathways for advancing circularity and green finance. This is the power of South-South and triangular cooperation. It transforms individual experience into shared assets across the Global South. A tool developed in one country, be it an indicator framework, a budgeting approach, or a circular economy model, can be adapted elsewhere with far fewer barriers. The dialogue series launched today builds on this momentum. It demonstrates how South-South cooperation is becoming a central mechanism through which countries learn about and accelerate green and circular transitions. To maximize its benefits, South-South triangular cooperation must remain demand-driven, must prioritize practical implementation, and must include follow-up so that initial learning evolves into lasting collaboration. As PAGE Indonesia enters its next phase, this South-South triangular cooperation agenda can become one of its strongest legacies, amplifying tools, evidence, and partnerships, while continuing to showcase Indonesia's leadership in advancing inclusive green development. Thank you once again to all colleagues and partners. I wish you a productive discussion, and we really look forward to seeing how today's session inspires new ideas, new partnerships, and practical action toward green, circular, and just economies across the Global South. I thank you.